Hey guys, it's your boy, Baldface8020, back again with another great commentary. This is another 2 for 1 day, and the reason I'm making this video now is because I kind of felt for a while like I wanted something to say something about it. I mean, now nobody cares about this issue anymore. It was like, this is like a 2-week-old issue, but I'm thinking about it now, and I want to get my thought. I decided I do want to get share my thoughts about it. So I'm not going to talk about the substance of what Harrison Butker said because, first of all, I've discussed it before, and second of all, it's like if you've seen when I talked about it before, I didn't discuss that particular statement. I mean, just the idea in general. It's just not something I just don't care. I don't care. The last thing I'm going to do is white knight for women. I don't care if women work or not. I don't care if they stay at home with their kids. It doesn't make a difference to me one way or the other. But my problem, actually, first of all, I want to talk about, my problem isn't really what Butker said. Butker said, it's Butker, however you say it. I don't care what he thinks and I don't care what he says. He can have his opinion. It's fine. I definitely don't find his opinion offensive. My problem is the reaction to it, the defense of it. But the first thing I want to say is that one thing about the defense of it that I haven't really heard, I'm sure there are some people making it, but I haven't heard, is this is, even though I agree, I don't think that was the right forum for it. Like whether he feels that way or not, I don't think that was the right forum for it. But the thing is, this became a controversy because my brother, I don't know if he's going to be voting for Biden this time, but he's definitely left wing, said, like, I just don't see what, who fucking cares? Like, it's like he said, I don't, like, whether you have a problem with what he said or not, who cares? It's some kicker. It doesn't matter. And the difference is, the reason it's a big deal is because one of our guys said it in a public forum. And when I say our guys, I mean somebody associated with the right. Like, I mean, obviously, like, I don't, like, I mean, me, and I'm assuming most of my viewers don't really identify with Harrison Butker's ideology. But even though we may not, his views are not our cup of tea, probably at all. Like, I mean, I really don't like, that whole moralistic, thing, because I think that right-wing politics should be about hating liberals. It shouldn't be about, all this other moral stuff is a distraction. That stuff, like, I'm not saying morals aren't important. Morals and values aren't important. Of course they're important. But to me, that's more of a personal thing. It's not something like, it's not what the government should be doing. The government should instead be focused on persecuting white liberals. But the thing is, though, he is on our side, like politically. And it's kind of a stage of, like, know your place. Like, like, you're not allowed, like, people on our side aren't allowed to share their views. So then they hide behind it. They say, oh, well, you're not supposed to do it at a graduation. It's like, yeah, but it was a graduation of some, like, weird Christian college. Second of all, how about the way the thing is, like, you guys doing stuff on neutral territories, like, it's like the norm, right? For, like, a graduate, like, that's like, he said it at some, like, weirdo Christian college. Said whatever he said. But, like, you can have graduations at, like, Notre Dame, like, just, like, completely mainstream universities, and you'll have some fuckwad white liberal lib shit get up there and just spend the whole time, complaining about Trump. And, like, and I mean, it was, like, it's not as bad now as it was in 2016, but nobody ever said anything about it because that's just expected. Like, the thing is, like, okay, they're in charge. They're allowed to do whatever they want. And it gets to, like, it's tough for me to pinpoint what I hate most about white liberals, but one of the things is their hypocrisy. And, like, and it's not even their hypocrisy because they're not really hypocritical about it. Like, when it's, like, again, like, when a white liberal says free speech or anything, they mean free speech for correct views. They don't, like, for what they view as correct views. Like, that's seriously what they mean. They have, like, a different, like, whereas when we say free speech, we mean free speech, which, by the way, I don't even support. But the thing is, whether you support it or not, you just mean free speech. You mean free speech for any views, not just views that I agree with. When a white liberal says free speech, they mean free speech for views that I agree with. And But like white liberals think it's completely, they think that since the public square belongs to them, everything belongs to them. That's just how they think. That's, again, my whole family are white liberals. I know how they think. They, so that for them, it's completely fine to just go to a neutral setting and spout off political shit that like nobody wants to hear. It could be a science class. It could be a college graduation. It doesn't matter. Like white liberals have the right to say whatever they want, wherever they want. But people who aren't white liberals or aren't on the left or going to say views that aren't approved by white liberals, they have to know their place. They're only allowed to speak in certain settings. And that's really, what that's all about. And then the other thing I want to say is I do enjoy like how triggered it made some women. Like, I know I'm not really supposed to talk about the substance. I completely disagree with what Harrison Butker said. I feel like I need to get that out there. I think what he said was so like, I don't think it's morally wrong. I think it's bad, like often just very harmful. I think what he said was bad and that it was a completely inappropriate venue for it. But he triggered the shit out of a lot of women. So I do agree with that. And so I do support that part. But anyway, what I want to talk about is the defense people on the right and some people who aren't even on the right, like Bill Maher, who's pretty left. He was defending. He's like, I just don't see the problem with what he said. And I've seen some like other people who I really respect say like what he said was fine. It's not a bit like they're not just saying it's like who is like. It would be like what my brother said. I get better. Like I agree with what my brother said is like. It's just like some obscure. It's just a kicker. It's not Travis Kelce who said it. It's a kicker speaking at some weirdo Christian college. Who fucking cares? It's a non-issue. That's like my position. I agree with that. What I don't agree with is the people who are, saying that what he said like look, wasn't a big deal. They're saying like he's like, well, what he said was innocuous. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't an innocuous because the people who are simping for Butker are saying, look, all he said he respected. He said that women should be allowed to do whatever they wanted. But just that his wife was really enjoyed being a homemaker, being at home with their kids. And that, so if women who did want to do that should be able to. And like, it's one of those things that technically that is what he said. So like, yes, if you want to say like, was there anything wrong with like the specific letter of what Butker said? No, I agree with that. However, I mean, come on, are you guys really that retarded? Because I don't care what the specific words were. Words are one way we convey meaning, but they're like sometimes you can say something in words, but it has an implied meaning that goes beyond that. Sometimes even opposite of what the words are. That's not the case here. But no, what he said in the words in and of themselves were fine. However, there was so obviously, if you read what he said or listen to what he said, it is so obvious that what the implication is. It's like you read the whole thing in context, read what he said. He's clearly saying, and there's no question about this, that women should stay at home with their kids. No, he's not saying that they should be forced to, but he's saying that it's better for women, better for the children, and better for society. That's what he said. Now, you can agree or disagree with that position. Personally, I disagree with it. If there are people who think that that's true, though, it's completely fine. I agree that view is fine. What's not fine is to deny that's what he said. To say, no, he wasn't saying that women should stay at home. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. How could you not fucking see that? Are you like this is like bizarro land? Because this is the kind of like sort of blindness you normally only see from the left. Like, let's be like, well, technically he didn't say that. It's like, yeah, well, like, what he fucking meant. But here, like, dude, no. He obviously meant that women should, maybe not all women, but that most women should stay home. And there's no question that's what he was, he was explicitly, it wasn't even really implicit. He was explicitly encouraging the women in the audience at this college graduation to forget about careers and devote themselves to raising their kids. And I think that I'm assuming that if he, at least in private, he would admit that is how he feels, and that is what he meant. Because I mean, I don't know how he's responding to it, but there's no question that's what he meant. I mean, there's zero question that he meant that he was encouraging women in that audience to stay at home with their kids. Furthermore, there's no question that he was saying women not staying home with their kids is the cause of a lot of the problems we currently have in our society. Again, both statements are fine. I don't think that was the right forum for it. Like, how would you feel if you were one of the girls in that at that graduation? Like, that's not cool. But no, if that's what he feels, it's fine. If that's what you feel like, that's totally fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with feeling that way. But don't deny what he said. Don't what I don't want is to see people try to have it both ways. That they feel that way, and then, but then they're like, if that's the way you feel, stand by it. Or if you don't want to stand by it, then don't say it publicly. But you can't have it both ways. You can't just like go out in public, say it, and then when you're called on it, deny that's what you said. And I'm not saying he's doing that, but people are doing it for him. And it's like, because I didn't even bother to read what he said at first, because I just or listen to it, because I just assumed it was just like the media twisting his words. I just assumed he had said something like, yeah, my wife stays at home, so if there are women who want to stay at home with their kids, it's a big sacrifice, but they should be supported. If he had said that, like, I just assumed he had said something like that, and that they were just like, it's just a case of women and liberals being retarded, and but no, this time the media was telling the truth. Go and read what he said. That's not what he said. And what he said was much stronger than that. Yeah, that's all for now. See you in the next.